What is going down, everybody? It is your boy Danny G TV in the house. My Golden State Warriors are in the Western Conference Finals once again for the first time in 3 years, but for the 6th time in 7 years. Of course, the Warriors beat the Nuggets in 5 and then beat the Grizzlies in 6, and will face the Dallas Mavericks starting tomorrow, in the Western Conference Finals. Now, the main purpose of this video is the fact that 10 years ago, absolutely nobody saw the success coming for the Warriors. Now, 10 years ago, let me take you guys back to 10 years and 2 months ago, March 19th, 2012. The Warriors play a meaningless game against the Minnesota Timberwolves on that day. But then halftime comes along, and then one of the Warriors legends, one of the Warriors all-time greats, Chris Mullin, big part of the Run TMC era, gets his jersey retired. And the Warriors owner, Joe Lacob, comes out to make his speech, and this is what happens.
Save the best for last. Let's bring up the owner of the Golden State Warriors, Mr. Joe Lacob. Tonight, now that we got that over with, tonight is about two things: embracing history and respect.
Now, why are the Warrior fans booing Joe Lacob, you might ask? Well, that is because a few days prior to that, the Warriors decide to trade one of their star players, Monte Ellis, who at that time, you could say he was their star player. He was their main star player. They decided to trade him to the Milwaukee Bucks for Andrew Bogut. They also put Epe Udo in that deal, and there were some things in that trade that didn't end up falling through that were originally announced at the deal. I think Steven Jackson was a part of the deal somehow. I forget all the logistics of it, but the Warriors basically traded Monte Ellis and Epe Udo for Andrew Bogut. They needed a big man. Now, absolutely, a lot of Warrior fans were pissed about that trade, including me. I was one of them, because Monte Ellis was so good back then. He was such a clutch player. He was great at hitting threes. He was great in the paint. He just could do everything. And, he was something special. He truly was. I remember, the 2010-2011 year when the Warriors just were not that good. It was just such a thrill to watch Monte Ellis. Now, Stephen Curry, of course, who right now is, of course, the Warriors' best player, and he's one of the best players in the entire NBA. He was good back then, but he was nowhere near what he is today, and absolutely nobody expected he was going to be what he is today. But what's funny, though, what's crazy, is there were Warrior fans back then that thought that Stephen Curry should have been the one traded instead of Monte Ellis. Now, I was not one of them. I definitely was not one of them. I knew Steph was going to be good. I had no idea he was going to be this good, but I knew he was going to be good. But now, I think the main reason why no one saw his success coming is because he had a lot of trouble with his ankles back then. He had trouble staying healthy. So that was the main reason. It wasn't anything against the way he played, because he played great back then. But he had a lot of trouble staying healthy. So there were some people that thought that he should have been the one traded instead of Monte Ellis. And if he was the one traded, as crazy as this is now, I don't think Joe Lacob would have been booed at halftime 10 years ago. But, so, one of the other Warrior legends, one of the other Warrior all-time greats, Rick Barry, is pissed off that the Warrior fans are booing Joe Lacob, and he decides to chime in.
Hey, 1 second here. Come on, people. You fans are the greatest fans in the world. Everybody said that.
Show a little bit of class. This is a man that I've spent some time talking to. He is going to change this franchise. This is crazy. Seriously. Come on. You're doing yourself a disservice. All of the wonderful accolades being said to you, for you to treat this man who is spending his money to do the best that he can to turn this franchise around, and I know he's going to do it. So give him the respect he deserves.
Now, a lot of people did not expect Rick Barry to be correct in his statement that Joe Lacob was going to change the franchise. I personally did not know. I was hopeful, I was optimistic, but I kind of had my doubts a little bit. I will say this, I was not too happy with the fact that the Warrior fans booed Joe Lacob during the Chris Mullin jersey retirement ceremony, and I decided to listen to the post-game show on KNBR, hosted by one of my favorite baseball players of all time, Eric Burns, who, being a Bay Area sports fan from the Bay Area originally and living in Arizona, I had watched Eric Burns play locally for the Diamondbacks. Getting into baseball, even though I was a Giants fan, of course, still am a Giants fan. I went to a lot of Diamondbacks games in 2007, and I saw him play, and I knew how good he was. And then he was signed to a big contract in 2007, and then the next year in 2008, he started to struggle, and he got booed by Diamondback fans. So I decided to call in and compare the two.
Danny and Phoenix. Danny are on KNBR.
Hey, Eric, thanks for taking my call. First-time caller here on SportsCenter, and I'm a diehard Warrior fan, and that Lacob booing was very pathetic. And, I mean, especially on the night when it was Lacob's idea for the Mullin jersey retirement ceremony, and I'm not a big fan of the trade either. But, I mean, on the night when Mullin jersey was retired, I mean, it's just as pathetic as the D-backs fans booing you, Eric. I mean, it's just insane, man.
Appreciate the phone call, Danny. Appreciate it. Look, I'm okay. Hey, there was more reason for D-back fans to boo me. That's it. I don't care. I don't care. Look, I understand it. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. I've been booed plenty in my life. Usually for good cause. But I got booed for performance. That was it. The one thing that I held my head up high about was that I always gave it my best effort. But this man tonight did not deserve to get booed. You were somebody who is out there putting up his hard-earned money, trying to do everything in his power to make the Warriors better, who just pulled off a trade that may not have made a whole lot of sense to us at the beginning. Why are all the experts praising this trade? And all the Nimrods are questioning it.
Yes, that is me at 15 years old calling in to the postgame show and comparing the Warrior fans booing Joe Lacob to Diamondback fans booing Eric Burns. Now, booing an owner and booing a player are a little bit different. Like, booing a player when they struggle is somewhat common. Booing an owner is a little bit more rare. And like Eric himself said, it made more sense for the D-back fans to boo him because he was a player that was struggling. Now, booing an owner after they make a trade is kind of rare, but that just shows how good Monte Ellis was back then. And that just shows how bad the Warriors as a franchise just had not had a lot of success at all. 2012, they'd only made the playoffs once in 18 years. Because of course that's 2006, 2007 when the We Believe Warriors, the 8th seed, upset the number 1 seeded Dallas Mavericks. Other than that, they had not made the playoffs at all since 1994. And Baron, of course, they traded Baron Davis and got rid of Jason Richardson. Traded Baron Davis a year later. They got rid of Jason Richardson like that off season after, which was one of the that was incredibly stupid, by the way. That was before Joe Lacob. That was with Chris Cohan, but that was so pathetic. They literally traded Jason Richardson on draft night in 2007 for Brandon Wright, who did absolutely nothing for the Warriors. Oh man, but yeah, nobody expected the Warriors were going to have the success that they had. And of course, the following season, 2012, 2013, the Warriors make it back to the playoffs, where they lose in the second round to the San Antonio Spurs. Mark Jackson actually was named the head coach before that 2011-2012 year, and he actually guaranteed the Warriors were going to make the playoffs, and he ended up being right in his second year. And the Warriors actually also drafted Klay Thompson in June of 2011. They drafted Klay Thompson. And so the Warriors at one point did have Klay Thompson, Monte Ellis, and Stephen Curry on the same team. Now, I think there could have been a way that Monte Ellis and Steph and Klay could have all been on the same team and actually made a playoff run. I feel like there could have been some scenario where that could have happened, but the Warriors just were not built that way. They didn't have, of course, any big man, but that would have been interesting. But and there were some rumors that Monte just didn't want to play with Curry back then, and yeah, no one thought that Steph was going to be who he is today, and a lot of people, me included, expected that the Warriors, if they want to make a deep run into the playoffs, Monte Ellis is going to be their key component. But how crazy is it that 10 years and 2 months ago, Joe Lacob gets booed by his own fans, and then he ends up going to being the owner of the team that goes to 5 straight NBA Finals, wins 3 of 5, goes 73-9 in a year that they don't win the NBA Finals, the best record in NBA history. How crazy is it that same owner that made all that happen actually got booed by his own fans because he made a crazy trade? It just goes to show that don't ever boo one of your own players. Now, that's my own motto. If you're gonna boo your quarterback when they struggle, or boo your pitcher when he's getting lit up, that's you. And I respect that. But me personally, that's not who I am, because who knows how dead wrong you could end up being. How all the Warrior fans that booed Joe Lacob that night, how dumb do you think they're feeling just a few years later? Now, of course, it actually took until Steve Kerr ends up being hired by the Warriors for them to actually be as successful as they were. But they did, with Mark Jackson, make the playoffs a couple years. Of course, 2012, 2013, already touched on that. They got eliminated in the second round. They made it past the Nuggets in the first round. The next year, 2013, 2014, they get bounced in the first round by the Clippers. And that was a 7-game series, I believe. But Mark Jackson gets fired after that, and a lot of fans, including me, were against that too. But Steve Kerr, they hired Steve Kerr, and then the rest is history. And now, 10 years after 2012, the Warriors look to win the NBA Finals again. They're in the Western Conference Finals, and I believe they do have the talented team. They have a team that can do it, I think. I don't know for sure if they will, because the Mavericks, they got Luka. They're a damn good team. I see them win that series, and then the Celtics and the Heat are still in the East. So who knows what will happen, but I think the Warriors are one of the best teams still alive, and I think they can win a title. But I just wanted to make a video and reflect on 10 years ago around this time and how crazy it is that 10 years ago Joe Lacob's booed, and now the Warriors are looking to win another title once again. Danny G is out. Peace!